lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast. Prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Moonbeast, a.k.a. the Shaggy One, a.k.a. Russell Jackson. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. We are wrapping up the Spider-Woman saga that started with the first episode of this season, which was issue 6. So we've been kind of jumping through her title because some of the people that were working on her book liked it. Like Jack Russell. So he's been in and out of this title. And if you've been listening to the last 2 episodes, you know that Jack's not really that much involved right here, but we just had to follow her story to the end because we're so close. So this is the 50th issue, the final issue that we'll be discussing tonight. For those of you who want to call in and give us your thoughts about anything you hear or anything you think we should know, you can call our voicemail. That's 971-220-5865, 971-220-JUNK. You can reach us there.
Hi guys, Jackson T. Overstreet. So I used to have these Spider-Woman issues, and I just wanted to do a little research, and so I found an episode on that was interviewed Ann Nocenti of Women of Marvel podcast from February 27th of 20, and no one wanted the book after Claremont left because it was already a dead book. It was a canceled book, and it was Grunwald who had the idea to bring her on and get her some experience and then also kill Spider-Woman. So the guy that we love so much is also the one responsible for fridging Jessica. So some of that hard-boiled dialogue apparently was Denny O'Neil was Anne's mentor. So I think he had some influence there on her writing at that time. And then also Mark Grunwald was kind of a co-plotter at those last 4 issues. So it was Daddy Longlegs was his idea, and bringing back Gypsy Moth was his idea. So there was no long-term plan. It was just to get her foot in the door and some experience. And from the second that she was offered the book, it was a dead book, and she was literally put in charge of killing Jessica. So yeah, that might explain some of the way the last story arc, it kind of goes into 50 for greatest hits. And last, on that photo cover of issue 50, Tigra is Anne. That's her. She was wearing a black bodysuit, and they painted over her after the photo was taken. And that's the outside of the Marvel building offices, and those are all like guys who work at Marvel who are hanging off the side of the building. So anyway, keep kicking ass. Stay furry. Bye.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks to Jackson again. He's left us lots of good voicemails. So yeah, it's good. It's nice to know at least some of the context that this was a dead book when Ann Nocenti came on, which, you know, we were curious about. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Thanks, Jackson, for that call. And that really sets up this issue.
Yeah, it really, really does. So we have Spider-Woman number 50, which is a double issue. Lots of pages of content on this. Let's jump into this issue. I'm so excited.
Do you want to share the exciting news for after?
I don't know. We can. Yeah, I didn't know. We didn't talk about this beforehand. I didn't know if you wanted to do this this episode or next, but yeah, I think we should share it at the top of the show.
Okay. Yeah, we're super excited because the director of the Werewolf by Night special, Michael Giacchino, reached out and asked if we would like to, if he could bring us down to LA to attend the premiere on the Disney Studios lot for the Family and Friends showing. And we were absolutely floored by that generosity and jumped on it. And he also said, also there's going to be a bunch of the, me and some of the other people that were involved doing a Q&A afterwards. Would you guys like to moderate that in the theater? So we said, hell yeah, YOLO. I mean, I'm a little nervous. I sing in front of people, but I don't stand and talk in front of people, but I'll be okay. Jacob will get me through it.
Yep, I'm good with that. That is one of my superpowers is no stage fright and having no problem talking in front of people. It's my background as a child preacher.
I've made oh my god, you little Will Oldham song.
Yeah, comes in handy every once in a while.
Oh man, what was that Sales movie where he was the mining town? He was a little preacher. Will Oldham was a little preacher kid.
That was so
anyway.
good.
Sorry, I'm getting off track. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I've been to lots of Q&As. I think it's my turn.
Damn right.
Yeah. So we are. I feel blessed right now to be able to do this. So we were just chuckling about it the last couple of days. Like, oh my god, we just we've told the story a billion times. Y'all have heard it. Like, we just started this little COVID podcast, and it's reached so many people, and people have enjoyed it so much that and we get to be in this position where we're at, where the whole world's going to meet Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell, and we get to be a part of it on the premiere night. So couldn't be more excited.
Oh my God, right? Like this, this came at such a great time and such an exciting time and such a great time for me. I mean, I think I'm going to talk about it when we do our next bonus show, but I went to the worst concert I've ever seen in my entire life that was actually soul crushing. And then when I got home and was kind of ranting about it, like it just felt like I was assaulted. And then you shared the email that Michael sent us. And so I was like, well, all right. I guess the best, worst, and greatest thing happens in one night.
Yeah. And then the following day, our graphic designer that we hired to do the Bronze Age Monsters logos got back to us and said, hey, I think I've narrowed this down to stuff that you guys, what you'll like. And he sent them to us, and I about peed myself. They look so cool. So I want to get those on some coffee mugs, on some pint glasses, on some t-shirts, some stickers, and have some swag to give out to our fans.
Yeah,
so,
God, the logo looks so good, and
so
yeah,
good.
we'll give links to the designer once we unveil all those, because he did a really kick-ass job.
He really did, and I appreciate whoever it was that recommended him to us. I think it was Zach Soto from Floating World.
I think so.
The Floating World crew, because he knows him. Anyway, that's super cool. So we're stoked. I just feel like it's been a great week, and Renee started getting the Halloween decorations out already. So I'm already starting to watch horror movies like on a daily. So I feel like I'm going to peak on the 7th when we go down to LA, and just like the rest is just going to be denouement.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. And also another thing that's been such a positive thing in the last couple of weeks is the Discord that we started, which a lot of people have joined, and it's very active and is super cool.
Yeah, I really love doing that. So we started a Discord, and we mentioned it last week. I posted a link to it in the last week's show notes, and someone pointed out to me a day or two ago that has expired. And I checked, and yes, they do. They expire every 7 days. So if you ever want one, just ping us on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, whatever you want, and we'll send off a fresh code. But it's been super fun. We have like, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? 31 Days of Halloween, miscellaneous, collectibles. What are you collecting? Just stuff like that. It's just a bunch of like-minded people. I love that it's so respectful. I haven't had to admonish anyone for saying anything shitty on there, because we're all cool people. We draw cool people to us because we put out coolness, Jacob.
Damn right.
So, yeah, I did have to show one of my secret ticks, is that I did say, if you put any Jim Krasinski, if there's any Jim and Pam or whatever they are, John Krasinski, if any gifts of them are on, you're going to get kicked out for 72 hours. That's just me. I know it's not fair. I just fucking hate the American Office. So
I think it's fair. Rule. No, that's a fair one rule to have. I don't think that's asking too much.
Yeah. I'm even going to let people eat corn nuts in the car, because I hate the smell of corn nuts, but I could dial back. I'm aware that those are personal things.
I'm learning a lot about you. I thought I knew everything, but I'm still learning some of your very specific ticks.
That's how I keep our relationship fresh, darling.
That's right. It's still exciting. Okay,
so the final issue of Spider-Woman is pretty striking, and this was kind of a popular thing in the early 80s. There's a Spider-Man annual, I think, that has a cover like this as well, but they were experimenting with the idea of photos that were either the Spider-Man one was just a model wearing a Spider-Man top, kind of like undressing in a dark room, changing into Spider-Man, and then someone opens the door and like catches him. This one has Spider-Woman climbing up a brick wall, and against a photo, it's a treated photo. So there's a paint or whatever on top of the stuff. And some people are wearing outfits, but they're augmented by post kind of production work. So we have Spider-Woman climbing up a brick building, and then a bunch of characters from her past are on the fire escapes looking down towards the alleyway. So we see Tatterdemalion, the Werewolf by Night, the Enforcer, the Tigra, the Hangman. I don't know. Who's that white character? There's Gypsy Moth. Who's that white character?
Well, in the it's
Is that Poltergeist?
In the quote that I got about this photo shoot,
It's the Needle. No, the Needle's in front of Tatterdemalion.
Yeah, the Needle's in front of Tatterdemalion. There's the Shroud.
Oh, it's the
There's
Shroud.
The Hangman. Yeah, it's the Shroud.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who the white guy is, but that's cool.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about this, Jacob, because this is super cool. You can tell it's a photo because like Spider-Woman's hair is very real. Like they had to do, this is pre-Photoshop, so they had to like cut around the ends of her hairline, and it's very obvious where there's no feathering they could do to fix that. And you can tell that people are in bodysuits, but talk about this whole experiment.
So I found a nice little quote from Mike Carlin, who's part of the production staff. And also at this time, I think his first major gig was writing Kazar, starting with issue 28, I think right around this time.
And he's also the Needle.
Yeah, he is on the Needle. And he recalls, I think I got this off of Sean Howe, who wrote that amazing Marvel book that we talk about all the time, off of his blog. So this is a quote from Mike Carlin. He recalls, "The Scarecrow was Mark Grunwald. I was in front of him as the Needle. Werewolf by Night was colorist Bob Sharon. The guy hanging off the fire escape is SpongeBob animator Vincent Waller. The Moth Lady, Gypsy Moth, was Mark G's wife Belinda. Tigra was Annie Nocenti, her own bad self. Brian Postman is the Hangman." So I thought it was pretty badass.
Yeah.
Though you can barely see him. Not sure who played the Shroud. Ralph Macchio is what he said. He says, white-haired guy in white is letterer Jack Morelli. And green hoodie guy might be Ren and Stimpy animator Bob Camp. Because this is, And then it says, and Lynn Luckman was a secretary from the business side of Marvel, and she looked awesome in the suit. In fact, she's the only character painter Bob Larkin didn't have to enhance with costume lines and such.
Wow.
So she's pretty much as she is with very little enhancement. She's in the suit, like she wore the Spider-Woman suit.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so fucking cool.
Can I be honest with you? Until you read that, I did not see that the locksmith was down there. I have not seen him until just now. That is literally the first time I've ever seen him in this. So weird. Okay, and he called Tatterdemalion the Scarecrow. That's cute.
I know, right? It's very cute. Yeah.
And you got to love the corner box here where that's definitely an untreated photo where she's giving a little sassy hands on her hips, kind of arms akimbo, with a little tilt to the side. Very cute. Yeah, so that's
Lynn Luckman, who was
Oh wait.
No. Lynn Luckman. Yeah, Grunwald's wife is Gypsy Moth.
Okay.
Belinda is Gypsy Moth, and Lynn Luckman, was a secretary at Marvel, and she looks great.
That's cool.
Yeah, such a cool cover. I love this thing. So I don't know. I guess there's a Spider-Woman movie coming out at some point, and but I went online. I was like, I would love to have this in a physical issue. So I was like, but it's a photo cover and it's probably a lot of money. It is not a lot of money.
No.
You can get this on like my comic shop in like a very fine for like $6.
Yep.
It is not considered a key, even though it's a historic issue, has a badass photo cover. It's a double size issue. And but if you feel like getting this in a physical form, it's not a problem.
Yes, I was filling in my second binding project for Werewolf by Night towards the end of COVID, kind of 2021, late 2020. And that's when you and I on the show had speculated, like, what the hell's going on with prices? Everyone just went in their garages and pulled stuff out and started going through it and decided, I want to finish this run, or I could sell this, or I bet nobody has Spawn 1 anymore. And so the market just got bananas. But yeah, issues of this were going in late 2020, early 2021 for $25-$30.
Yeah.
And I found one same person who sold it to me for like $4. I'm just like, you just wait. and somebody comes in and is like, I know what it's worth. I just want $4. Just give me $4.
Yeah, I think I just looked on my comic shop, and the price is not high on this anymore. So yeah, and I think it'd be a decent issue to have in a physical form.
And so where the barcode would normally go in the lower left-hand corner, there's just a white box with text that says the startling conclusion to the saga of Spider-Woman.
All right, well, let's jump into this issue. So, yeah, opening page, the title of our story is Lifeline. And the cast of creators are Ann Nocenti, scripter, Brian Postman, penciler, Sam De La Rosa, inker, Rick Parker, letterer, Andy, how would you pronounce that?
I would ask him.
Yamkus is what I'm going to say. Mark Grunwald, editor, and Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. So we open on a full-page illustration of Spider-Woman in a giant web. Well, we realize that's one of the fates. That's Clotho, if I'm correct, Matt.
I never remember the fates' names.
That's the fate who I figured it was her, and I had to look it up, and I'm like, yeah, she's the one that weaves, I think. And
it's not Vince Clotho of the Gatekeeper?
Yeah. No.
Vince Cortho? Okay.
Cortho? Yeah.
Something from Ghostbusters.
So yeah, one of the fates looks appropriately creepy as she moves in for the kill while Spider-Woman is in this giant web.
Question. Is this Madam Web's sister?
Ooh, I don't know.
I mean, if they had it to do again, they probably would have made this Madam Web, right?
I would think so, probably. Yeah.
One of my least favorite characters.
Yeah, let's read the opening narration. So the narration reads, "I am the fate that spins like your namesake, Spider-Woman, but the thread I spin is that of life itself. I have seen my sister, the second fate, measuring that same thread that is your lifeline." And then, it goes into a nice little, at the very center of the web is where we get the title of the book. Or of the story. And I dig this opening page. I think it's super cool. It's like a horror comic.
Yes, totally. And it throws me back to when this was a horror comic for about half a year. And it also throws me back to the mid 30s run of Werewolf by Night when Jack was in that horror story, that 3-part, I forgot the name of the main character, but we're in the haunted mansion and it's all possessed and all that stuff is going on.
Such a good run.
Just all that high concept horror stuff like this. I really am attracted to. We find on the next page, though, that this was just a dream. She wakes up screaming. Her roommate busts in and says, "Jessica." And she's talking about her dream. She's like, "Oh, you're just a nut. You lead such a weird life. No wonder you have such strange dreams." And she says, "And hey, don't read so much into a dream. It only seemed special because people tend to be at their most creative when they're asleep." Did you know this?
I did not know that. Thanks, Lindsay.
And Jess says, "Well, I guess so, but it must be what you say. My life is complex and crazy." Does Lindsay know at this point? Did I forget her telling Lindsay everything?
Oh, yeah. Lindsay knows, for sure. Lindsay's known for a while, right?
I just can't remember when that happened. Remember I read 15 or 16 issues in one day?
You binged them?
Yeah.
You mainlined 20 issues of Spider-Woman? Yeah.
So that when Jess was just saying that how complex and crazy her life is, there was this really cool silhouette of her as Lindsay's in the background. And then we get these long, skinny, vertical panels that show as she's talking about them. She says, "Everyone I go near, enemies, strangers, friends, innocents, they all just slip between my fingers." So if you recall, in the last couple episodes, people have been disappearing just out of her life, like Thanos. First it was Daddy Longlegs, then Gypsy Moth, then the werewolf, and finally Tiger and Poltergeist. And she says, "To know me is to disappear." Well, Lindsay says, "I'm not going to disappear." I like this art here. I love the little profile photos of each of the the drawings of each character. Like, I love the werewolf's half face snarling with drool dripping out of his mouth. That's great. And his brow is so pronounced you can't even see any eye.
I know, it's really cool. But because a lot of our drinking rules aren't going to apply to this issue, so I feel like we should take a drink whenever we see Jack.
Oh, okay. Cool. So I want to take this, split it in half, double it so it's like a two halves of the face. And then take it in the DMV and be like, "Can I have this for my DMV photo?"
I think that would totally work.
Cool.
Yeah, Lindsay.
I laughed when I turned the page.
Oh, because of the sexy silhouette?
It's it's like a booty call from like the title itself saying, Jess, come on, one last sexy shower silhouette. Come on, for old time's sake.
Oh, and we get it because Lindsay suggestively is just like, why don't you go cool off in the shower and I'll cook us some breakfast. And so, and Jess is thinking, these disappearances have really got me shook. She says they go beyond synchronicity, beyond chance. I love this. I really want this to be my new catchphrase. It's time to get paranoid. Is what she says, which I loved. She says, this has to be a conspiracy, a plot. And then, she gets in the shower. We get a sexy silhouette shower scene. She says, I'm so frustrated by all of this. I'm simply going to have to devote all my energies toward unraveling this enigma right after breakfast.
Girl after my own heart.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of good lines on this page, actually. And so, she says this, that we cut to Lindsay, who comes into the bathroom, is just like, still in the shower? How clean can you get? Come on, I've got eggs and hot muffins. Jessica? And then she looks into the shower and is like, oh no, don't be gone too. Don't be gone. And then, Jess has, as you said before, bamfed out of existence.
Yeah.
And poor Lindsay. What a weird panel where we see Lindsay's face and it's like just a bunch of like horizontal lines.
Isn't that weird? Like video interference, like video gridding.
It's weird. I kind of liked that. It almost seemed like there was a video, like a camera in the shower.
Closed circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Postman likes that effect. He's done it at least once in every issue we've seen of his.
He does.
I have no problem with it. I think it's cool.
I think it's cool as shit. And I've tried twice now to contact him and be like, hey, do you want to talk about your Spider-Woman stuff? Like, no response. I don't know if he's stoked about his jobs on this, even though we love it. We think he did a great job.
If I had written jingles when I was like 20 and they were for something stupid, like, so-and-so's Biscuit Hut or something. That's literally what it's called, so-and-so's Biscuit Hut.
I'd go there.
And somebody called me 20 years later and I'd done stuff I was much more proud of. And they said, would you come on radio with us and talk about so-and-so's Biscuit Hut theme song? I'd be like, no, dude, really? I was 20. Like, oh, come on. People really love it, Matt.
Yeah.
And I say, well, fine. Then I owe my audience. I think. Brian, if you're listening, I feel you out there right now. I got something crawling up my spine. Call us, man. So let's celebrate. Let's embrace this little commercial venture you went on.
Yeah, well, that's kind of been a theme that we've been talking about, especially on last bonus show when we talked about that alter ego interview with Don Perlin, where he was very dismissive of his work on Werewolf by Night.
That episode kind of bummed me out. Like that talk about the interview bummed me out for a while, a couple days. I was just like, God damn it, man. I don't know. Why is this sticking with me?
No, I get it. But it's also like, I don't know. I would hope that if I had done some amazing things, which I didn't in my early 20s, and someone remembered them. And when I was an old man, of course, my kids, that they are definitely an accomplishment. But if there was some kind of artistic accomplishment that someone found, people are I sometimes wonder about that, about like the records that I made or the records that you made, like, because they'll be us like 50 years from now, or people like us. Someone's going to be like, oh, there's this weird obscure record that I want to reissue on whatever crazy format exists like 40 years from now.
That'd be dope.
And so I don't know. I have a hard time. Like, I get it. Like, I get you're an artist, and like you're John Darnielle from the Mountain Goats, and it's like, you don't, I could totally understand him being like, I don't want to sing No Children anymore. I don't want to do it. But
I thought you were going to go way back, like to Boombox. You're even going to studio stuff.
No, I mean, but because that became like a TikTok sensation. And
did it? Okay.
Yeah, it became this huge deal, and it probably. I mean, I know that streaming royalties are like a billionth of a cent, but I'm sure he made a little chunk of change from people just really liking a couple lines from that song on TikTok. And you know what? He leaned into it. He's like, I don't give a fuck. People love this song, and there's like 13-year-old kids that say this is their favorite song. It's like, fuck it, I'm going to play it every show now.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. That's how you lean into this shit.
Yeah.
But with Don Perlin, I mean, God bless the guy. He did an amazing job and drew as many issues of Werewolf by Night, more issues than anyone. But I'm just like, oh, poor you. Someone liked something you did. What a bummer, man. Like, oh,
yeah,
that's got to be so hard.
Yeah, that's like biting into a hamburger at a hamburger stand on the beach. You know, there's some fucking homeless guy there, and like, ugh, this is overcooked. You just throw it on the ground, like stomp on it. Like, yeah, man, it must be rough.
That's got to be rough. Yeah, wish I had those problems. So So
sidebar, I really would have thought that this year would have been the song of his that got picked up like in 2020, and that people would have like made TikToks out of, because that song, I'm gonna make it through this year if it kills me. Like that was my fucking 2020 anthem.
Exactly. And I think that what was funny, and I think I read an interview with John that was talking about this, that this year during 2020 went to the top of his streams on Spotify. Like that definitely went. No, you're not crazy. That absolutely became people's anthem until this weird TikTok trend that using like the I hope you die, I hope we both die lines from No Children.
God, great fucking lyrics, man.
It's a great fucking song. I don't care. I've heard it a billion times and I still like that song.
That whole album I will put on at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, Tallahassee is just it's a hell of a record. I think we've made our love of the Mountain Goats known on this show, not as often as I would have thought, honestly, because you and I are fairly rabid fans, and but no, we are massive Mountain Goats fans. Wow, I wanted to keep this episode streamlined, but you know, what are you going to do?
I'm sick and now I'm half baked, so you're gonna have to deal with me.
Okay, that's awesome.
Okay, so on the next page we see a jet hurtling through the sky, and there's a strange little scene on board. There is a man wrapped up like Houdini. He's in a box which has a bunch of chains wrapped around it, and it's all padlocked. And there's a guy sitting in one of the seats. He's a bald man with glasses holding a stopwatch. And the guy inside the case is narrating, saying, "Menacing miscreants, all of them." And the man with the watch is counting down, 9, 8. And he continues ranting about how he's going to get them out of the way and the master of a showman. And then this guy pops out his big Houdini escape, and he is the locksmith. He's wearing a green hood and cape and a gray tunic and gray bottoms. And he looks kind of like, you know, Dr. Alchemy. He was in that Blue Beetle run I loaned you from the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
He reminds me kind of Dr. Alchemy, his outfit. But so he pops out, and the guy says, 11 seconds. You haven't lost your edge yet, locksmith. And the guy that was timing him was TikTok. So this is TikTok and locksmith. I love that bottom panel where he's bursting out of the chains in the crate, and there's just like yellow, you know, poof smoke. Like we don't know how he did it. The background's all red with black explosive kind of lines radiating out. It looks cool. It's really weird, but it looks cool.
Oh, these villains are such a fucking crack up. Oh man. Yeah,
so he looks cool like that, right? But then on the start of your page, he looks like some guy named Gary that works down at your dad's office. Like he just does. Like, oh, he's the guy that cleans up at night, and I wouldn't even talk to him. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah, no, he looks like. Well, let's just go to the next page. He looks like Gary that cleans up at the office, but in like a Green Arrow Halloween costume.
Yeah,
like you can kind of tell. City. Like, yeah, Party City. It's plastic. It's very thin. You know, and so yeah, on the next page, it's Locksmith talking to TikTok, and I say their names a lot, and it's goofy every fucking time, and so Locksmith is like, did you remember to take her costume? And TikTok's like, yes, I took it.
You can hear an erection in the way he says it.
I know. I'm just like, oh God, and that reminded me. I'm like, oh yeah, they snatched her while she was naked in the shower.
Yeah.
Bunch of fucking creeps. And so, yeah. And he says, good. As soon as we land, I'll get her secured. Oh, and you better go give her another shot to keep her under. He's like, yes, sir. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but one of Spider-Woman's powers is that if she gets shot with some kind of toxin,
the second time she's immune to it.
The second time she is completely immune to it, because that is the way her powers work. That's the way her power set has always worked. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a little weird. And Ray reminded us of that, I think, in the last episode that Ray was on.
Yeah, I actually thought when you were reading this here that he was actually setting it up, and I missed it the first time I read through, but nope, it doesn't play at all.
No, it does not.
Weird. Okay.
So yeah, Jessica is thrown into a cell and told to change into her costume. And then she's fitted with restraints that are like kind of power dampeners, I think. And
steel oven mitts?
Yeah, they are steel oven mitts connected to Doc Ock type arms. And Yeah, he has such a villain intro to her. He says, "You call yourself Spider-Woman, I believe. I am Locksmith, your host, your keeper. You're better. I will suspend my disgust for you and all you represent just long enough to show you your new home." And then he, throws her into a cage. What a dick.
He's pulling her out of a cage. He's going to give her the grand tour.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Her new cage.
Yes, even though you got to say from that illustration at the bottom, that is not clear.
Yeah, no, it is not.
It's not. It's only clear because on the next page, it's the splash page where she's,
No, it took reading to parse it.
Yeah.
Took reading ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yes, we're walking with this 2-page spread, and it's the Locksmith and Spider-Woman and her bonds walking along this cell corridor on the ground floor. There's 2 stories. And we see, golly, on the left top, there's Gypsy Moth, Shroud, Angar the Screamer, or whatever. And then the bottom left, it's Tigra, Poltergeist, Jack, Daddy Longlegs. On the other side, we have Tatterdemalion, Needle. Is that Killer Shrike?
Yeah, it's Killer Shrike.
Okay. Flying Tiger. He was here a few issues ago.
Yeah, Flying Tiger. I remember
Dancer
you said.
Macabre. Did she ever face him? Like in Marvel Team Up with... No. Because that was Spectre. I mean, that was Shroud.
Yeah, that was Shroud.
You're saying Spectre.
You do.
What the hell? Who? Why is? Okay.
Don't get hung up on it.
Okay. Yeah, and then Hangman and Enforcer and Necra, who she met back at the whatever institute. The Hate.
I had forgotten about Necra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, some of these are deep cuts.
Yeah, they are some deep cuts. So they're walking along. She's looking at all of her friends tied up. There's a Tigra. She's thinking, "Hey, it's Spider-Woman." So we got her too. Now I know why there's a vacant cell above me. And Jack's just saying, "Rawr, rawr, rawr," which I'm not quite sure why, because it must be a full moon. Just because walking along, just thinking, what is with all this, huh? And he says, well, these are all special cells. Each cell has been designed for its occupant, and has some type of negating power that prevents them from escaping. So he says, with all of you under locks, human beings can again strive to achieve with pride and honor without being overshadowed. So his main motivation is that he is really resentful of superheroes because they came in. He's a stage magician. He's a master of his craft. People used to adore him. And now that he's fallen out of favor because there's people that can fly and shoot lasers out of their eyes. And so his mission is to kidnap all of them and lock them up so he can be beloved once again by the public. Yeah,
it's a hell of a motivation. Or
it's very Batman live action 60s series.
It is. And he does kind of look most like Art Carney's The Archer. So there is a Batman 66 parallel right there.
Wow.
Yeah, take that. I did it. Thank you.
Celebratory dab.
Yeah.
That's cool, right? Kids are still dabbing.
Oh, man.
That's lit, isn't it?
Well, we had so much cred till just then.
I'll trim that out.
Yeah. All right. On the next page, he starts to introduce all the prisoners and how he's neutralized their powers with Mickey Silk now. And you called it, Matt, like he's Poltergeist now. His name is just Poltergeist.
I could tell.
I know you could tell. I know. We knew it was coming.
It's pretty clanky.
It's very clanky.
When they suggested it or whatever last time.
Yeah, it's Marvel's classic ripped from the movies. And so I love what he says about the Hangman. So the Hangman is sitting there just like drool coming down his lips. And
beatific grin.
Yeah, he's very happy. And the locksmith says, this Hangman is one of the most violent men I've ever seen. Drugs and a steady stream of children's cartoons keeps him well pacified.
I love that. Love that.
It was like
that was one of my favorite parts of the whole issue, actually.
Oh, it was absolutely one of my favorite parts. Yeah, just how they treated the Hangman as the giant man baby that he is. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, yep, that's accurate. That's super fucking accurate. So, and then, so with Dance Macabre, all he did was just cover the floor of her cell with ball bearings.
It's a very Bobby Brady solution to the problem.
It is. I was just like, I don't know if that would work, but okay. I mean, I get what you're saying. Good try.
More Dennis the Menace.
It's definitely more.
Get out of my begonias.
Yeah, it's definitely more Dennis the Menace. Brady Bunch is a little too highbrow for a prank like that. And so, we get more of the, kind of more of the motivation. Jess is yelling at him, "You steal people's lives. Why?" And he says, "I give me the right. I am doing society a favor by eliminating all of its deviants." And he says, she's like, "Deviants? I'm no." And he replies, "But you are. You and your ilk have destroyed people like me." And I sense an origin story coming.
Well, I love that, like, the colorist cast this pink pall and pink and purple over him, like some flashback shadow is coming over the entire scene.
It is, right? It's such a weird choice.
Like, it's just saying, like, sorry, folks. I gave you a warning.
Yeah.
The layout of this page is cool, though. Postman did a neat job, because on the left-hand side is the locksmith, and he's folding his arms, kind of leaning back against the panels, looking at us, breaking the fourth wall. And it's a grid of 6 panels on the upper half, and then one kind of big one with an inset one on the bottom. But they're all kind of rounded, too, which makes it's a nice flashback mechanic, I think. Like, Postman's really good at mechanics for me.
He's really good at mechanics. This is a layout that he goes to a lot. We call it postmaning. Mm-hmm. But he's great at it. I don't get tired of it, especially, like, this is similar to how he framed Gypsy Moth's backstory.
Totally.
Yeah.
So this giant kaiju locksmith is leaning against the panels, looking at us, saying, "I was born with a fascination for locks and mechanisms." And then all these flashback panels we're going to go into here have red backgrounds with blue highlights and black, and that's the only colors in with, which I think is rad.
It is.
So we see him as a kid. He's obsessed with, like, breaking locks. Then he's a famous stage magician. He has huge crowds. He's still a famous stage magician, but now there's not so many crowds. And then we see him older, reading a paper that says "Superhero saves Prez." And then he gets angrier and angrier. That's when he starts working on locks that can defeat certain heroes' powers. So I made a note here that, like, this is kind of a pre-Scourge. Like,
yeah,
he's not
for
going to kill people. His whole thing was take them and keep them locked away to live their lives naturally as prisoners, so he could be a famous stage magician again. It's just weird to say the whole sentence, like, to end the sentence. So then, at the end of that flashback, we see him catching Daddy Longlegs, which was, like, the first time he actually existed for real, outside of any kind of retcon editorial sense. And to see him dragging them away with the help of TikTok into I'm assuming that jet or something. And so, flashback is complete. We understand his motivation now, no matter how morally bankrupt or credibly incredible,
or just flat out goofy. So on the next page, we're back at his home built Supermax prison, and the narration reads, "Finishing his reveries with a haughty laugh, the locksmith secures Spider-Woman's cell and leaves." And then we kind of are going through, I think this is a 2-page spread. This is the first of a 2-page spread, to where we're kind of going through the different characters we haven't seen before and seeing how they're reacting to being trapped and caged.
If this were a movie, or if this were on Disney Plus right now, there'd be a security guard and he'd be flipping through the cells, and you'd see it, like, through CCTV, and then cut into the cell and have them do an inner monologue or say something out loud or see what they're doing. And just kind of jumping through and just seeing how everyone's occupying their time in the prison.
Yep, absolutely. We see the flying tiger, who is just encased in some kind of metal straitjacket almost, and
you remember
he's
him?
Thinking, I don't remember him at all.
So he showed up in here, I think, first. I don't know if they ever used him again, but it seemed like someone said, "You know who's really cool at DC? Bronze Tiger. We should get a Bronze Tiger." And then
Bronze Tiger was kind of cool.
Bronze Tiger's fucking really cool. I love that character, but this guy's not so cool.
No, he's not. He looks more kitty cat.
Yeah.
And so he's really pissed. He says, "I want to rip someone's throat. Walls keep moving in on me." And then we go to the Enforcer, which I like seeing the Enforcer in pain and freaking out. And he's been dosed. Like, he seems to be on acid, thinking, like, "Shadows are so thick, almost alive. Shadows collect in the corners, sit on my feet, stare at me through the bars." And he just wants his gun. He says, "If only I had my gun." And then we get to the Hangman, who's totally chill. He's super happy. He's just like, "Sunny, haha, nice face, feel good, gotta." He's watching Bozo the Clown or something. And then at the bottom, we get Spider-Woman, who is keeping it cool. She's not freaking out. She's thinking, got to get some sleep. This energy drainer makes me so weak. Got to keep my mind from drifting apart. Got to get free. So our girl's on it.
The next page just continues. There's Tigra. She's thinking how she wants to get out, and she'll never see a mouse again. No pizzas, no vanilla shakes, no music. We cut to Daddy Longlegs. He's got his insanely long, gangly limbs all kind of wrapped up around himself, thinking, I can't move, I can't stretch, I'm entombed, an embryo from womb to tomb, good place for a freak. I hope they use this guy some more. I feel like he had a lot of gas in his tank, man. He did. That issue I loved of his.
Me too.
Then we go to the Shroud, the Master of Darkness, and they have headphones on him that are playing loud music like Gitmo does to mentally distract people or whatever.
Yeah.
So he says, the sound's deafening, so grating, jamming my mind, can't think, can't concentrate, can't use my power. And then we just cut to Jack at the bottom, and it's almost like he's looking up at a camera, like just up at the ceiling. He's going, blood rushing in my head, can't change back to human, forced to live as a wolf, makes it even harder to take this godforsaken hell. How?
So
what would be the point of like, I have this guy who turns into a monster and attacks people, I'll make him not be able to change out of his monster state. That will defeat him.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I'm drinking to that ridiculousness. Okay. And also that the way that the colorist did this, it makes it look like he's some like derpy dog with his tongue like just hanging out in such a weird way. It's fucked up.
Yeah, his physical attitude, and like I expected him to have some kind of Deadpool like smartass like talking to us like, so yeah, now I'm stuck in here now, and this kind of blows. Yeah. Watch how I get out of here though. I can dislocate my shoulder, like it's some weird psycho fourth wall thing.
So weird. So yeah, okay. Next page. It's the next morning. Locksmith and TikTok are up early, plotting to capture the Viper. So I'm like, okay. Locksmith says, he says, how good it feels to do something worthwhile for the good of mankind. I am an old man. My days are numbered, but before I die, I shall leave the world a better place by eliminating all the subversive freaks I can. He just keeps going off on his bullshit. And he's like, I only hope and pray that I live long enough to see my dream fulfilled. So it sounds like he's like 85 or something, the way he's talking. Like, I didn't think he was that old.
That picture of him in his flashback reading that the president was saved by a hero, he looks old, like Orville Redenbacher. Yeah.
Well, that's the gauge. That's the metric. Yep. So, I love this. So he tells TikTok to go to bed. He's just like, you got to get your rest. We have to lay some traps for the Viper. And he's like, okay, well, I better make my rounds before retiring though. And then he says, at the parameters of my vision, I sense a possible disturbance. TikTok's power set is all over the fucking place. Like, is he omniscient? Is he, does he have like some kind of weird telepathic powers? Is he just good at scheduling? Like, I don't understand this dude.
Even based on what comes after?
I mean, I guess, yeah, I do. But
I thought his gimmick was he's a clock guy and he has 60 seconds of prescience. But so while he can see the future for 60 seconds, he sees every possible future, which is like the way the Daredevil receives too much information. So like he says later, like when something is clear to me, it has a higher likelihood, like a statistical probability of happening than the fainter ones do. Yes, more clear.
Yeah, which I did like. I did cool. Like that. No, it is
like,
cool.
He's like Muad'Dib, but like for only 1 minute. So we see TikTok staring blankly at his stopwatch as he's wandering down these cells, and he scurries down the hall in his appointed rounds like Alice in Wonderland's late for a date rabbit. It was like some of this was a little on the nose, goofy for me. So Tiger says, "Hey, TikTok, come here a minute." And he says, "I wouldn't try it if I were you." She's like, "Try what?" He's like, "Throwing that food tray." She's like, "What? How'd you know that? Hey, what kind of life have you got there anyway? You may be on that side of the bars, but it's still the same prison," which is weird because I thought she was going to say, "How the hell did you know I was thinking of doing that?" But she doesn't actually say it.
No.
But she's saying basically, being our keeper, you're equally a prisoner as much as we are. And she says, "You're no freer than me. Hey, come back here. I'm not through talking to you." And he just looks at his little watch like the White Rabbit and wanders off. Mm-hmm. And again, he says, "I seem to perceive a disturbance at the threshold of my awareness. I must concentrate, look into the myriad future possibilities and see which one is in focus, which one is most likely to occur." He's going upstairs to continue his rounds.
Okay, so yeah, you're right, Matt. So on the next page, on this top panel, which I do really really love, this does pretty much break down what you were saying before is his powers. We get a glimpse of his actual powers. And the narration reads, he turns his sight into the fragmented prism realm of his mind, and he sees Spider-Woman and all the many possible actions she could take. The sharper the focus, the higher the chance of that action actually occurring. And so, yeah, we just see his eyes and his glasses, and then there's a big thought balloon cloud, really a thought cloud that kind of is showing all the different possibilities. And it's really cool. And yeah, I didn't do my due diligence and see if TikTok and the locksmith are show up at all.
If you want to make it interesting, I can bet you they didn't.
I'm maybe because I'm assuming they didn't, but everything's recycled eventually. I would think that like Fraction or Chip Zdarsky or something would bring these guys back to shit on in a Daredevil issue or something.
Yeah, but, totally. Like why wouldn't Poltergeist ever get found by the X-Men at some point? Like he clearly is an amazingly powered mutant.
Yeah, so he's doing this, and then he goes to Spider-Woman's cell, figures out what she's going to do, and says, the mitts are just heavy enough to keep you from reaching the bioelectric drainer. And she's like, but I only considered it for a second. And then he says, no, there was a 15.8% chance you'd try in 8.3 seconds and fail. She says, you see into the future, huh? That's some skill. You seem okay. What are you hanging out with this obsolete showman for? He's a nut. He's like, obsolete? A nut? No, a bit of a monomania, perhaps. But he's whittled his life down to a fine point, honed and focused the life around a single passion. What's wrong with that? So yeah, he's making a case for, I guess, how cool the locksmith is, which I don't know about that.
Don't tear that wall down.
No, I'm not going to.
You would not like what you see. In the upper right panel, when he's having the thought cloud of his power set and the possibilities, on the right-hand side, Jessica doesn't have eyeballs, and it really fucking freaks me out.
That is really freaky. Is that just, that's just forgotten,
that's
I
just
guess?
An error, I guess.
That's an error.
Inking error?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah, so he's dedicated. So then Jess and Tigra start hissing to each other from their cells, saying, Tigra, did you get a load of his rap? He thinks the locksmith is harmless. He should look again from this side of the bars. Tiger says, I'm getting stir crazy. How can we get out of here, Spider-Woman? These locks are indestructible. And they realize, no, but there is a way that we can talk through the bars and maybe talk someone through getting around their power negator. And so they know the Shroud has these headphones on that are drowning out his powers, what are his powers again? I honestly don't remember. Are they like cloaks? Okay.
I don't think they're as cool as cloaks.
Okay. So Jess starts chanting for Shroud, like louder and louder. And the letterer makes this cool, it's balloon letters that change colors and kind of get bigger and bigger. And you can see them like we're zooming in way up tight on his face and like the bottom of his mask. And he's gritting his teeth. So somehow Tigra and Jess get together chanting his name, break through the noise canceling headphones that are designed to cancel out all noise. The power set I didn't know either of them had. And so that getting through there and like that little blip in the system makes him regain consciousness for a moment. He smashes his head against the bars and breaks the headphones. But it fails to adjust the headphones enough because to get them off his head, they're just too well designed.
Yeah. So
he kind of tilts back against the bench in the cell, and that plan didn't work.
No. Poor Shroud.
Did we see him get taken?
I thought so, yeah. Did we?
I don't remember. He was with Spidey in the Marvel team up after we reviewed.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was taken in that.
That's when he fought Dancer Macabre. Maybe they got taken then. We'll have to go check.
Yeah, we'll have to do a little
that would actually make sense. And I was wondering also, like, did these guys reach out at all? Was that comment about Vibra in that issue? Vibra? Jesus Christ. Viper. Was that just just to go by this because Viper, the Serpent Society, is in Cap this month? Or did they actually tie these guys in?
Well, because there's a little editor's note about the issue of Cap that Viper was in. So I was just like, oh, okay. I guess, maybe.
She's the one with green hair, right?
Yes.
Diamondback is the one that Cap dated. Viper
Yes.
is the one he did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess on the next page, since the plan with Shroud didn't work, they concoct a plan that's much more evil and mean in a way, because they're just like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, I bet I can really fuck with Mickey, that poltergeist kid. Like I can really mess with his mind. I know what. This is all Tigra, by the way. Well, no, it's both of them. They're both in on it. Tigra and Spider-Woman kind of come up with this, but Tigra's the one to meanly do it, and so Mickey Poltergeist is in the next cell, and she's like, Mickey, and she thinks, I think I'm gonna have to get tough. Hate to do this to you, pal, but I gotta hit you where you're insecure. And then there's this row on the bottom of the page of just these long, skinny vertical panels of Tigra just saying the worst shit to this child.
I'm sure Necra's nipples are erect.
Yeah,
she ran that confrontational like
the
est.
thing.
Thing.
Yeah, and so Tigra's yelling, "You good for nothing wimp, you ruin lives, you're a coward, a nutso runaway psycho." And, Mickey's crying and freaking out. And so, but his poltergeist powers are going to start to fuck shit up. And so, his mind helmet or whatever has been taking his powers away, starts fritzing and sparking, and all the smoke comes out of it. And so, yeah, their plan worked.
Yep. The next page, he's just openly weeping as his all of his equipment and inhibitors are short circuiting around him. It says Tigra tosses words like stones into the pool of Poltergeist's unconscious, and the resulting ripples ring out into the world. And then, as Michael Caine would say, he blows the bloody doors off. All the doors just go flying off the cells. So there's Jess and Tigra popping out, and that's not Tigra, it's Gypsy Moth. And Tigra says, "Hey, it worked." And so sure enough, everyone's just like, "Whoa, we're free." So they get out, and she runs up to Gypsy Moth and says, "We're free. Wake up, Gypsy Moth." So she already has a plan, which is may I say, brilliant plan.
Yeah. So Jess frees Gypsy Moth and says, you have to help me. Listen, I know we've been enemies, but unless we cooperate, we'll be stuck here for the rest of our lives. You must use your ability to control matter. Help me break from my bonds. And she's like, I can't affect metal. Not that she can't, but well, I guess she can't because it disgusts her. Like it'll make her throw up to try to manipulate.
Like Jim and Pam.
Yeah, it is. There you go again. If it's something that disgusts her so much that she'll retch if it's not finery or velvet and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, "Oh, you got to try. Oh no, gas!" And so they get gassed, and it says 3 minutes later, and then we got old Locksmith and TikTok. Locksmith is like, "Fools thinking they could escape from my prison. Still, I'm surprised they got this far. Even their harnesses are loose." And so, they lock her back up.
Yes, they do. And Locksmith's mad. He says, "You and your infernal 60 seconds. Why didn't you foresee this?" "I was sleeping, sir. When I dream, I can't." "Ah, never mind, you old whippersnapper. But you must get a grip on your vision. If you cease to be useful to me, you just wind up just like those other freaks." He must sound like that, right? He's like 80.
Yeah, he totally does.
So a cool thing happens. A few hours pass. And Gypsy Moth seemingly wakes up and says, "I've been out from under that drainer long enough to rejuvenate my bioelectric energy." And you listener might be thinking, wait, bioelectric energy? I thought Gypsy Moth was, she says, "I can feel it in my blood. It worked." And then there's and she blasts off the oven mitts. Says, "Now for this cell. It may have been strong enough to hold Gypsy Moth." And then she pulls off the harness over her shoulders, and we see it's Jessica in Gypsy Moth's outfit, but a spider in Moth's clothing. And then she does a venom blast and blows the bloody doors off for real.
That's a pretty cool plan. Like they had
just a moment, and she had her spin her costume onto her, and used her material to put it onto Jess, and best she could do, right?
It's the best you could do.
She can't manipulate metals, so.
No, and that's on the next page. Yeah, Jess is letting us know that Gypsy Moth used her fabric power, like you said, to switch costumes. And now they are out and they start freeing everyone else.
Can I just say that Gypsy Moth as Spider-Woman is horrifying in this panel. She looks like fucking Carnage. There's like tendrils of thread like picking up the gas machine and just like folding over her head. She's terrifying.
Yeah, she is. She's really scary. Even though, goddamn, I love the bottom panel on the left. Oh. It looks like a Dick Sprang, like Batman and Robin
totally
type of thing.
Come on, chum.
Yeah, it's so fucking goofy. And even the narration is like, and elsewhere in the prison.
Yeah.
And he's like, my plan was unfolding with such perfection until tonight. What now? Did you attach the alarm up wrong? And then, yeah, he says, you don't want to, TikTok says, you don't want to turn this corner, locksmith. We'd better. And then you see around the corner, you see the silhouette of all these pissed off ex-prisoners ready to kick some ass.
That's my favorite, one of my favorite parts of this whole issue. I love just seeing them like they're just fists are raised, like they're just like doing the whole thing.
I oughta.
So sure enough, they turn the corner on the next page, and there is Jess as Gypsy Moth, and Gypsy Moth as Spider-Woman, Poltergeist, the Werewolf, and the Shroud. There's Jack. So I'm going to take a little sip of my...
Yeah, he even has a line. I'm taking a sip of that.
He even has a line. So Jess says, this is what you call a jailbreak Loxy. So she's already got a nickname for him.
She's got a nickname. Yeah, she already does.
That's Pete's thing, babe. Let's just leave that to Peter. And Jack says, now it's your turn, hotshot, to enjoy life in a box. No, the prisoners cannot judge the warden. I like that.
He says it twice.
And he falls down on the ground, puts his hands on, and says, the prisoners cannot judge the warden. My dream is gone. So he's losing his shit. And Gypsy Moth entwines them in their own clothing. And it's all done. And Jess is like, cool, well, fate has brought us together, as soon as the police get here, you're all invited to my house for a celebration. And then Rodney Dangerfield comes in and says, hey, we're all going to get laid.
Yep, that's exactly what happens.
And whatever that song is starts playing. The Journey? No. What is that song that plays? All right.
Yeah, it's Journey.
Okay, yeah. That's what happens. The credits roll and it's over.
It is over until Caddyshack 2.
No, yeah. And Tiger picks up Poltergeist and says, hey, no hard feelings, right? About how I completely broke you down emotionally and mentally. I was like, oh, that's okay, Tigra.
Yeah. And instead of saying that, that she totally devastated him emotionally, she's like, sorry if I had to needle you a bit. That's
I was hoping that Needle would be like, hey, I'm right here.
I'm right here.
Because there's a villain named Needle in the room at the moment.
In the room. Yeah, I know. So then the next page, this is just a weird scene. So it says hours later at Jessica's house in San Francisco. So it's the whole cast hanging out in Jessica's apartment. The Shroud is pouting in the corner weirdly. Tigra is asking Mickey what color costume he wants. Daddy Longlegs is talking to Jack, being like, I feel sorry for Locksmith in a way, Jack. He's a frustrated artist, just like me. Jack replies, well, I doubt any prison's going to hold him for long. And then in the middle is Jess and her boyfriend David, and she's saying, some party, David. I bet you never knew your girlfriend had such wild friends. And David is not looking okay with this. He is pretty upset, he looks like, scared, really. And he's like, Jessica, could you come out back? I've got to talk to you.
Well, I can't believe I'm saying this. In David's defense.
Oh, come on.
These people in this room could take over LA in about 2 days' time, like 48 hours if they teamed up and decided to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I believe every individual. I believe in the good in every individual. So yeah, he's like, hey, I got something to tell you. It's like, oh, it's a relief to get out of there. There's a great bunch of people, but now that they're all here, what do I do with them? Like, some of them don't have homes or lives. Like, do I hire them in my detective agency? Do I? She's fucking freaking out. As it's sinking in that she invited all these freaks to her house.
Like, oh no.
And then she turns around and she has this, the panel has this ragged line, which is so cool. And she turns around and she's chained to David, Tigra, Poltergeist, Shroud, everybody. And she says, oh, I'm starting to feel dragged down and tied up with all. And she turns and sees it and says, let go of me. And then she just snaps out of that. It was a hallucination momentarily. He says, Jess, what's the matter with you? I thought I saw, oh, never mind. And she just gives him a big hug and says, the strain of the past few weeks must just be getting to me. But, give me a hug. Come on, a big hug. And he's like, okay. And he's like not even engaging with her physically. He's just like limp. She says, listen, let me splash some cold water on my face. I'll feel better. I'll be right out, okay? Okay, David? he's just like he has a bowl cut and he's all just like stoop shouldered like Charlie Brown. Like, doesn't even talk.
No, I know. Not my favorite. Not my favorite character.
I hate my new girlfriend as a private detective superhero.
Yeah, what a dick. So yeah, next page, Jess is splashing some water on her face, thinking, what's bugging him? And then she's like, that feels good, water. I can't believe I hallucinated like that. Strange the way it was so vivid, yet over abruptly, almost like, and then she looks in the mirror and her reflection looks like some like EC Comics zombie kind of thing. And she's like, and then runs out. And David's like, now what? Is there a ghost in the bathroom? Don't worry. I'm sure you'll make friends with it.
God.
It's just like, holy shit, dude.
Knee, meat, nuts.
Yeah, I know. And she's like, huh? And then out back, it's like, okay, what do you want to talk about? She's like, Jess, you're just not real, Jess. She's like, what do you mean by that? He says, I guess you're not a real woman for me. For me, I mean, a guy grows up with an image of what the woman he wants is like. And Jess is like, what are you saying? Just like the rest of us, like, what the fuck is this guy saying? He's like, I think we should stop seeing each other.
Oh, my God.
He's like, yeah, I need a woman, not a myth. I want a woman who wears normal clothes and doesn't bring home every freak nature ever spit out. A woman, not a spider woman. And then we get this great zoom in on Jess's eye as a single tear falls. He says, I'm sorry, I'm just not man enough or big enough or brave enough to love you. And yeah, so he just kind of is breaking up with her. And she's like, well, what was all we had then? Was it all false? He's like, I can't explain into words. Don't make me, just let me go. So yeah, he's David, biggest dick in the world.
Yeah, what a loser. So the next page, he has a spasm with this energy's crackling through him. He's like, Jessica, I take it back. I love you. I love you. I love you. She says, what's wrong, David? And he says, it's not David. It's Magnus. She's like, Magnus, my old sorcerer friend? In David's body. He says, I'm taking over your friend's form so I can speak to you. And I never told you about this, but I was a ghost that whole time. So when you knew me before, I was in another person's body. And he says, so you've been hallucinating? Like, that's his first question. It's like, you did that?
Yeah.
Here, I thought I was going nuts. Says, no, it wasn't me. It was Morgan Le Fay. And she's trying to reach out to you to drive you insane. Her body is stuck in the 6th century, but she can still send her illusions through time to you. If you get weak enough, she could even steal your soul. So we met Morgan Le Fay in Spider-Woman #6, and that was a great issue. So she and Magnus fought Morgan Le Fay, and she got sent back through a kind of a Evil Dead 2 vortex, wasn't it? Kind of back to
That's right.
Her time. And now she's reaching out to Jess from that time to attack her. So he says, hey, you got to shed your physical form and come back with me through time. And she's like, my astral form, I don't have that kind of power. And he's like, everyone has the power, but it takes weeks and months of practice and teaching to learn, but we'll just do it right now. So he just grabs her and yanks her astral form out of her body. I thought it was cool that, like, much like in the Matrix, like your core form or whatever is like her hair's long because she just cut her hair. So her essence, her thought of her being is a long-haired form. So her astral form is long-haired.
Yeah,
So
it's classic Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah, her astral form is classic Spider-Woman.
So he
this
jumps
page,
out of
yeah.
Oh, sorry. He jumps out of David's body. She comes out of his, and we see their feet soaring up towards the sky. And David just goes, "Hey, what?"
Yeah. Yeah, but fuck that guy. And but man, there's a lot of exposition on this page.
Yeah, it was a lot of words.
So many fucking words. To where Magnus just has to catch everybody up on what's going down.
I don't think we've seen him since issue like 11 or 12 or whenever he moved away.
No, yeah, it's been a long time. So the next page is rad. So Jessica in her astral form is kind of tripping out. She's soaring into the sky, like saying, wow, Magnus, this is great. Like swimming underwater, but I can breathe. I've never felt so euphoric, so free. And he's like, Jessica, please stop. This is a serious time. He's like, stop having fun. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's just that it's like shedding 1,000 pounds. I couldn't help it. And he's like, oh yeah, just don't lose your head. You'll need every ounce of wit and cunning against that witch. And then I like that she says, what about my body? I hate to leave it there, just lying there. He's like, don't worry. We'll return to the present seconds after we left. No one will notice. I think he kind of knew all along what was going to happen.
Good question. He has a sexy Lincoln beard, though. He's like monk Lincoln beard.
He does. It's a little bit of a monk beard. Yeah. But then we get this great inset panel of Magnus. It's like power blast coming off him. It says Magnus creates a rift between time and space. And then they fly through this weird, like psychedelic Doctor Strange portal. And this is the funniest thing of the issue for me. So they're going through this rift in time and space, and Jess just casually starts chatting like, oh, by the way, Magnus, it's good to see you again. It's been years.
It might take longer than you think.
Yeah, I guess so. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry I vanished on you so unexpectedly. And it says, yeah, Spider-Woman 16 was the last time we saw him. He says, 16, I had business.
It might be like that Mr. Show sketch, The Goodbye, where they keep running into each other after they say goodbye. And she's like, so good to see you again, man. So good to see you.
Never got to say goodbye.
I forgot to mention, I had in my notes here that if I were Magnus, the way David treated Jess, I would have him actually take David's body back into the party, but like with a butternut squash up his ass and like his pants pulled down and gripping his penis, and then leave his body. So everyone gets to see him like that.
Would have been way better.
Yeah. See, nobody hires me. So this weird portal we see through this end, from their perspective, and it's like amber, and we see like the forming of like medieval times. There's a hut and some peasants and a horse. She says, hey, there's an image forming. He says, that's 6th century Europe, a peasant village just outside Morgan Le Fay's castle. And so there's this note saying that animals sense things better than humans do. So this horse is aware of the astral forms coming towards him, and it starts freaking out. It's like, that peasant girl is going to be trampled. I need my body. I can't do anything without it. So Jess is freaking out. She can't fix the problem that she started. This horse is about to kill this peasant girl. And then it just disappears. Says, where'd that woman go? And then she says, Magnus, where are you? Did you do that? Great page as far as drafting. Like, it was just some cool action.
Yeah, really cool action. Explosive. On the next page, we realize Magnus has gone into the peasant girl's body. He sneaks up behind Jess and is like, yes, I'm here in the girl. A simple spell saved her. Now you take this woman's form to do battle in. And Jess is like, I'm not doing that. Morgan's going to kill her. And Magnus says, she was already welcoming death even as I snatched her back to life. I saved her for you. Come on. It's like, Jesus.
Is it just a weird ride around of like, how do we explain how taking this person's life is okay? Like, she was I swear to God, she was welcoming sweet, sweet death after this awful 6th century peasant life. I swear to God, she was like, please, thank you.
Oh, it's such a weird turn. But yeah, and then he says, you'll only be extending her life if you win. So does she. And yeah, he's like, I'm sure she wouldn't like these odds, but I guess it's better. I guess it beats the odds those horses' hooves were going to giving her anyways. Such a weird way of justifying, basically murdering this peasant girl. And then, Magnus makes it weirder by saying like, not to offend this peasant's form, but I'd rather cloak her in your image, Jess.
He's just more familiar with that form.
Yeah, he is. And so she's like, Magnus, the townspeople can see, they'll wonder. He says, don't worry, we're just creating myth here, according to their legends. Oh, yes, you'll have all your power. Yeah, so he's saying that they'll just be legends. They're creating myths. And then he just, casually says, oh, yeah, you'll have all your powers in this form, too, thanks to my magic. So everything's going to be fine because magic.
Yeah. So we wrote our way around that issue real fast.
Yeah, really fast. And then suddenly they're at Morgan Le Fay's castle, and they fly through. One of the. I mean, it looks like maybe a window or a parapet, but it's a weird like cross section that we see of them flying through. Window. It is a Flintstone window. It's like, oh, prehistoric. And then, right as they get in there, and Magnus gets slammed up against a wall, while we hear Morgan Le Fay say, "Thank you, Magnus, you old fool, for seducing her back here." Spider-Woman's like, "What, Magnus?" And that disembodied Morgan voice says, "And I welcome you, Spider-Woman."
I mean, that has to be your first thought, right? Like, bring the key to end all times back to the lock of the end of times. Like,
yep. Probably
the dumbest thing you could do. I mean, I know you have to do that to defeat her, but still, come on.
Pretty dumb.
And yeah, you kind of just skipped over this, but it does matter to the listener maybe that in accordance with Merlin's spell that he cast on Morgan Le Fay, if she leaves the walls of that castle, she dies. So
oh yes,
that's kind of a key Death Star
definitely
moment.
That is the vent.
Yes.
Of this.
And so the next page we can do this real fast here because it's just a bunch of illusions. Morgan Le Fay's voice continues saying, like, you know, all your friends and your relatives are here to greet you, and all these spiders and tarantulas start dropping from the ceiling. Giant Tolkien-esque ones drop down. Jess is starting to freak out. She's like, no, you're the mistress of illusion, but illusions crumble in the face of a much greater force. Truth. So she's already kind of like done the Mysterio Spider-Man thing and thought her way through it and realized this is not real. I throw off your falseness and stand ready, armed with reality. Those spiders were not real. She points a finger at Morgan Le Fay. Yeah. So, you know, that's like pawn to rook 4. It's just opening, just a standard chess move, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You got to start with this.
On the next page, we see, the first panel is kind of cool. It's a real long horizontal one where we just see the kind of bejeweled hand of Morgan Le Fay, you know, kind of rising up from her throne. And I like that she says, of course not, you self-righteous simpleton. Harmless illusion, insubstantial nothingness, eh? We'll see. To the business at hand. And so, yeah, Morgan reveals herself, says, I hate you, not simply with my heart or my mind, but by the entire being, my entire soul. So I'm like, all right, I guess. I mean, I guess Jess pissed her off at certain points, but
I appreciated this because I was like, as this scene started, I was like, what is the core of their beef again? I don't remember. So I appreciated this whole section here.
Yeah, and she says, I lured you here with the unwitting aid of my one-time lackey to kill you, to play with you first, perhaps, but ultimately to end you. For far too long you have plagued me. You are a little mortal thorn in my immortal side. All will end today. You shall not leave this castle alive, I swear by all that's unholy. Then Jess is crouched down. She says, listen, Morgan, I didn't set out to make you my enemy. You picked me. So let's settle this once and for all in a good, fair fight. Then Morgan says, I am ready. So the fight is on.
Do you remember from 6 why she came to our time, or how? Was she just doing evil stuff, coming to our plan to conquer our modern time, and Jess stopped her, and that's why she has this beef against her?
I think so.
I know Jess sent her back and trapped her there.
Yeah, so that's probably what she's most pissed.
Okay. So she produces this purplish black sphere, much like the one the witch had in Wizard of Oz. And she throws it at her. She says, this will make our battle more amusing. She's like, what's this, a crystal ball to show me my future? She says, no, you're present. And Jessica catches it and looks inside, and there's these weird, distorted acid flashback faces of all of her friends. And she's like, Lindsay, Mickey, David, no, not them, how? And so she has stolen their souls, and it's one of her talents. And Jess says, well, then I'll set them free. And she smashes the globe on the floor, and Morgan starts laughing. She says, well, how well you played right into my hands. So she's made these soul constructs, which is essentially the essence of their spirits, but they're manipulable like clay to her. So it is their spirit. It is part of their essence as a person, but she has control of them, like puppets.
Yes.
Right? So I just call them soul constructs.
That's accurate.
It is their soul, but they're not. It is their spirit, but it's not their soul, because their soul would not fight her because they love her. It's their spirit as a generic sense of force, like
yes,
essence. Yeah. Midichlorians. Sorry.
Yes. Thank you for that. So yeah, the next page is just Jess is fighting with the solid spirit forms of her friends. And the narration reads, a spirit is a wispy, ethereal part of human being, but a whole being it's not. But an image, a face is powerful and lasting. To Spider-Woman, these are still her friends. She says, I don't want to hurt them, but... And then she says, a diffuse venom blast should scatter them without hurting them. And so, yeah, she does kind of a non-lethal venom blast. There's a really cool panel at the bottom.
Sprinkler style.
Totally sprinkler style. And gets them all off of her, and she says, it's working.
I like the art here. I like
yeah, me too.
All of her friends. Like in that panel, the next to the last panel, where I think it's Mickey and David have a wrap, or behind her, you can see her faces, like they have no eyes, they have no souls. They're just spirits, right? And they're just purple and pink, like a bunch of goo.
Yep.
So on the next page, since that didn't work, Morgan Le Fay summons a bunch of like the local warriors. It says, "Bravo! On to the next challenge. From intangible wisps to solid sinew and steel." So all these guys with full armor and shields and swords appear, and there's a great panel that is silhouette and with a white background of them just charging her, and her like bounding, like crouching down and crackling with venom blast electricity, like ready to attack. And there's a nice little cameo portrait to the right of that of Morgan Le Fay close up with her little skull earrings and her green eyeshadow and her purple hair. She's so rad. I've always liked this character. She says, "Give up. Give in to one who knows you. Give in to the dark hold that has forever tainted you. Face your own dark self."
Darkhold.
Like, yeah, Darkhold. We got to drink to Darkhold.
Got to drink to the Darkhold. Shit.
Did she mention the Darkhold when she first showed up?
Maybe.
Because I know. Like, we should have done a season that was just a Darkhold thing. But like, I know that Wundagore and the Darkhold are tied together because part of that chthonic stuff, someone wrote the spells. It's in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yes.
Wrote the spells on the wall as like carvings.
That's right.
So some of the Darkhold is in Wundagore.
Yes.
That's where that took place. Yeah. So I think some of this happened outside of here. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think some of this moved forward and happened in other titles over the last year or two, and then so she's mentioning it now. I'm confused, but
yeah, it's a little bit confusing, but still pretty cool that the Darkhold shows up. So we get barely Jack, but we get a mention of the Darkhold, so that's pretty Jack adjacent.
Yeah. So Jessica's making short work of these guys, and Morgan's like smiling, just enjoying the whole thing. Like, that's it. You wicked girl, kill them. Accept your true nature as the Dark Angel. So now she's like the Emperor.
She's the Emperor, basically.
You are as I am. You are of my world. It will be your privilege to die by my hand. So she's all over the place.
She is, but yeah, Jess is getting pretty bloodthirsty. On the next page, she like pulls up this giant planter and just bashes this knight's head in. Is that what you saw of that? Like, I saw that as like, oh, it's a nice little, like, some plants or something in there.
I think it's a giant brazier full of like some spooky incense. And
okay.
but it's hundreds of pounds.
It's huge.
She's snapping. She's like giving into the dark side, essentially.
Oh, she is. And she totally just murdered. Yeah, she just murdered that guy, like 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she starts to kind of glow, and Morgan's like, "What is this? She seems to be glowing, burning, dark as a raven's wing." Jess says, "Look at me, a shadow you cannot get rid of. You've gone too far, Morgan, in a sea of illusions. Even you need ground to stand on." And so, yeah, she's becoming this dark, avenging angel that's actually kind of freaking Morgan Le Fay out. She says, "I can strike fear in even your barren, shriveled heart. Fear that is my bite. Feel its sting." And yeah, it's kind of cool. We're going back to, to know her is to fear her. Mm-hmm. So I liked that callback to the series here at the end of all things. And so she's like, "Now, Morgan, your time is over. I've never felt so strong. Yes, I am a mere mortal. Yes, I am dark and creepy, but I am also good. While you," and then we see Morgan's face, and she's sweating, like her choker's getting a lot of sweat on it, and she's freaking out.
So yeah, she continues charging towards her and says, "You cringe well, Morgan, as well you may at the nadir of your existence." And she's like fully, like she was like Venom now. Like she's like almost entirely silhouette with just white spidey eyes. She says, "I am a spider, but while you believe that is a weakness, I know it to be my very strength." And she picks up Morgan Le Fay by the throat, says, "I know what I am. I have faced myself. I have faced the Spider Woman. But can you?" And then we have this weird profile of her as she's like just like energy just crackling, like she can't even contain it anymore. And then Magnus's spirit form, his monk form, appears. And the narration says whether it's her own will or she invokes, or whether it will be magnified by Magnus's magic, she will never know, but she does know that she has gone beyond herself, becoming all she is capable of becoming. So she's like Captain Marvel right now.
She is.
Just like crackling. And then she says, "You kill, you steal souls. You are a force in opposition to life itself." And she plants this huge, like Buscema haymaker on Morgan Le Fay, who comes screaming upside down towards us. if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to end your foul existence. Awesome last part of that page.
Yeah, it is. And Morgan's face, like she's looking like kind of desiccated almost. Like it's really, really freaky. And then it says at the next page, the opening or the top narration says, "And where there was life, there is now dust. Centuries of evil ends in a moment." And we see that Morgan has been thrown out, crashes through this window of the castle. And she says, "No, you fool, not outside." And yeah, now that she is outside of the castle, she, basically just turns to dust. And Jess kind of stands triumphant in this weird negative space panel of her just still crackling with energy. She's like, she's gone. Merlin's spell was her undoing. And then we get Monk Magnus in his spirit form taking her hand, saying, "It's over. You've won. We can go home." Jess says, "What about Morgan Le Fay?" And Magnus says, "Evil always lives on. It reforms and emerges elsewhere in another shape. But at least Morgan Le Fay is no more." And so, they fly back. Oh, yeah. Death of a villain to Morgan Le Fay. Drink to that.
You got to.
So they fly through the rainbow portal, and Magnus is like, "You've saved a peasant's life. That's good. And with Morgan gone, perhaps a whole land. Your friends have returned to their bodies, psychically disturbed, but physically unharmed. So they're fucked for life."
Yep.
Like they're basically going to be in rubber rooms from now on. She says, "Morgan's magic no longer holds them, or you." So yeah, supposedly good ending so far, but I think I know what happens next.
So they're back, and Magnus says, "We're back already." Or that's Jess. "I can't wait to get back into my body." So she's like, just exultantly like, one last backflip. She just defeated evil, right? She just solved most of her life's problems.
She gets one
last backflip. I feel great. We won. So she's just enjoying this, like, airless feeling, whatever. And then she says, "What a victory. Never again to face Morgan." And she sees her body lying prone, or supine, prone, down on the ground. And she says, "Hi there, body. You look pretty gloomy without me, your little old spirit to illuminate you," as she's diving into her body's form, like lying down where her body is. And then she just panics, goes, "Ah!" And she just jumps out. She says, "It's dead. My body's dead. I'm dead." This great bottom panel. It's just a white background. Her astral form is white with just the slightest touches of blues. And her body is just cold and white in the red and yellow costume. Beautiful panel.
Yeah, really cool panel. And I gotta say, I didn't expect this.
No.
This took me by surprise.
This is being done dirty, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's always a part of me that I'm just like, I like characters dying for real, but no, not Jess, and not in this way. So yeah.
The drink to Jessica Drew.
Drink to Jessica Drew. She is dead.
Long may she live.
So we get this really cool, there's a great sequence of 4 small panels showing Spider-Woman looking down at her own dead body. And it's really cool. It says, narration says, "Death, no secrets revealed, no final revelations, only the helpless knowledge that your whole life you've been racing towards something that turns out to be nothing." Like, that narration, it gets me. And Magnus kind of comes up behind her and is like, "I'm sorry." Jess has kind of had her hand on her head, and it's like, so Morgan Le Fay got her revenge. Magnus is like, "Yeah, it was her final wretched act to snipe the life essence of your mortal form while your spirit was out. Be brave. Death is not so bad once you get used to it." Cool. And she's like, "Oh, cool, I guess. Do I have a choice?" He's like, "No. Life is wondrous, but there are things the living can never see. Hidden things. My world, the spirit realm, is closer to these things." And then, he's just like, "Your daily labors have ended. Your labors of a spirit have begun. My world and your new one await. Goodbye, Dark Angel." I know it is. Says, "You are evermore an angel of the light." She says, "But wait, my friends, they'll be so sad. Magnus, do one last thing for me. Cast a spell on so that no one will mourn me. I want them to be happy." Okay,
Peter Parker template?
Yeah, no shit, right? He says, "Very well." I know.
It is better to have loved and lost.
I would think so.
I think you're stealing something from someone when you take away the memory.
Yeah,
And
it's fucked up.
if it's sad that she died, that's not her choice to make whether or not they live with that.
Okay.
Do you think I'm wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right.
Okay. So this next page is a splash page. Beautiful. It's a spotlight down on her astral form. And we have this Romita cloud of just disembodied heads all around her. Everyone she's ever met, basically.
Yeah.
From those who knew you intimately to everyone who's ever so much as glimpsed you in passing, they will all forget you. This is the graveyard of your memory. All memory of you, every
Jesus.
last trace he wiped from all minds. It is as if you never existed. So yeah, if you folks, I don't know if you read along, but I mean, there's Hulk's in there, Daddy Longlegs, Tigra, TikTok, Juggernaut, Poltergeist,
Dazzler,
that Dazzler, that weird guy she met that she had a crush on in the beginning. There's an FBI guy. Remember him?
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Weird angel in his red cowl.
Ugh, I hate that outfit.
What's the green Impossible Man? The little green alien dude?
I think so, yeah.
Good God. I love that picture of Jack as Sid Vicious.
What the fuck?
God save the Queen.
Yeah, Jack, that is hilarious. So we get Jack again, technically.
Yeah.
So,
Drink.
I want to drink to that.
You got to take him when you get him.
Yeah, really, really cool page.
Yeah.
And then, we get the final page. So on our final page of this entire series, Magnus tells Jess, "It's time to go, Spider-Woman." And she says, "I know, one last look." And then we have this pretty cool illustration of Jess turning towards us, toward the reader, saying, "Goodbye, life. You were pretty good to me. Life is good, and then you die. I can accept that." And so I was like, all right, it's maybe not as poignantly written as I would like. It's a little simplistic, but also, the sentiment is there. So that's cool. And then I kind of like the last three panels, though. I do. I mean, as silly as they are. So at the bottom of the page, the final three panels, Magnus and Jessica walk out the window, just walk through the air up into the waiting moon. Jess is like, "Spirit realm, huh? Things I've never seen before? Like what?" Magnus says, "You'll see." And then you're like, "Oh, what a cool ending." And then it just unceremoniously at the end, at the bottom of the page, in like a very not fancy type or font or anything, it just says, "With profound regret, we must announce that this is the final issue of Spider-Woman."
Which to me seems counter to the whole Anne knew she was taking on a dead book. I mean, I'm sure that's true. But
No,
why was it?
I don't know. It's weird that I think this is a really good ending. Like, I don't know if it really needed that last sentence in a way. Like, she's dead. She's going, I guess Magnus is talking about like, "Oh, well, now you're going to be a ghost like me. And we got fancy ghost stuff we got to do." And so maybe she'd, become a ghost detective or something. I mean, I don't know if the series would go
Bill
on,
Cosby,
but
yeah,
that worked out well. Yeah, it totally worked out well. But yeah, the sentence at the end is a little weird, a little off-putting to me.
I really feel like that if it were just worded differently, it would land better. Like,
I know
if it just said, and with that, we say goodbye to Jess and her adventures. Thank you for coming along on the journey.
Yeah, but with profound regret, we must announce that this is the final issue of Spider-Woman. I don't know. It's weird.
Donnie was a good bowler.
Yeah.
And a good man. He's one of us. He's a man who loved the outdoors and bowling. Just had a weird tone like that where it's just
That's a very weird tone. So yeah, that is the end of Spider-Woman. That's the end of the character for now, and that is the end of this series. It ended with 50 issues, so it was a bi-monthly title. So it'd been around for a while.
Yeah. So when did she first pop up again? Like, there was another one, right? There was a gal, I forget her name, Maddie something is the second Spider-Woman.
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know much about that. I remember the character. I can't place a lot of the info about it. And obviously, I mean, Spider-Woman obviously comes back and has been back many different times. But yeah, you're right. There was another person that took over the mantle for a while. I think maybe late 80s, 90s.
And her outfit was based on the black costume.
Yes.
She's a cool character. Yeah,
I remember her being pretty cool. I didn't have any problem with her. But yeah, classic Jess is always going to be the best. And yeah, I was sad to see the series end like this, but it also made me happy that we went through so many issues in this run. It was kind of fun. It was an unexpected treat of the season, and the way that we, decided to go exactly anytime Jack appeared, we were going to go through the issue. And I think one of the main gifts that gave us was a better knowledge of the Spider-Woman series, which was pretty fucking cool.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it because that was intentional.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like I've read through this stuff before. Yeah. I was just like, I know I don't need to put him in here. He says like one line literally in the entire fucking 40-page issue. But like, I think it's fun just kind of diving around through the early mid 80s of just Marvel, like just having a thread to go through, right? Like that's why I want to do the Shroud bind. Like,
it's anytime he
now
appears.
It's kind of just fun just jumping around in people's random books. So, yeah, I dug that. I can't imagine why she came back. Besides Bendis. I mean, was she resurrected before Bendis?
I think so. I mean, I don't think the character ever stayed away for very long.
Oh, okay. I
don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Ray would know better, and I didn't look ahead too much for the character. So I'm actually not sure. But so I don't know. I kind of dug this issue. I mean, it was weird, and there were really cool things about it. There were some pretty cheesy things about it, but I really enjoyed reading it, and I would recommend people check it out for sure.
Yeah, well, let's do final thoughts on the whole Spider-Woman that you've read, anyway. Just as I know you didn't do the whole Claremont stuff.
I didn't read much of the Claremont stuff, no, even though didn't seem like I was missing too much. I think I really enjoyed as far as writers go, I really enjoyed the original Wolfman stuff. And that would be Infantino did all the art for most of the early Wolfman stuff. Mm-hmm. Then I really dug. I mean, I feel like the two best runs of this series are going to be Wolfman, Infantino, and then Grunwald. Really, I mean, those are the high points, I would think. And then Ann Nocenti being the third high point, because her run is way better than I'm assuming than Claremont's.
Yeah, I think it is. I just now that I know that Grunwald was pulling the strings in the background, like suggesting stories and stuff or whatever, but yeah, for me it's all about the Grunwald stuff and Wolfman and Nocenti. Yeah, I didn't care for the Fleischer and I didn't care for the Claremont. It just was really
the Fleischer was fucking awful.
It was really flat.
Which was weird. I mean, because I think we commented on this in the episodes we went through those issues, that you and I went into this being like, oh, Fleischer, this is going to be fucking amazing. And
he could do no wrong.
I did too, until I read his Spider-Woman, and I'm like, this is hot garbage.
Yeah, it's not good.
No.
I don't care for it at all.
And I think with the Claremont stuff, I'm just assuming he was stretched a little thin and was maybe a bit full of himself in 1983. So...
yeah, and the last few issues before Anne, I just kind of skimmed through those because I was exhausted. My eyes were tired. I couldn't take any more Claremont pontificating about stuff. So it's like Silver Samurai, yeah.
I figured it out. I get it. Did he get him into bondage gear somehow? Because that's a thing he loves to do.
For reals?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you're not an X-Men reader. I forget.
Not an X-Men guy.
That's weird.
I've read the first couple Masterworks. That's about it.
Yeah.
Maybe the first omnibus, like that much.
The Claremont stuff, not the Lee Kirby stuff.
No, the Lee Kirby stuff.
Oh, okay.
I haven't read the Giant Size and On at all.
Oh, the Lee Kirby stuff drives me nuts. I can't read it.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Gotta waste all that time.
Yeah. No, I think my favorite X-Men is going to be the Roy Thomas, Neil Adams stuff. I actually think that's probably the.
What is that, like 10 issues? It's like 1 year?
Yeah, it's just one masterwork.
I would like
but
that.
that's the one to own. And then, I love the Claremont stuff. So yeah, to me, Claremont, I love so much of his stuff, and he wrote War is Hell. So, I mean,
True.
there's a lot of his shit that I really love, but yeah, his Spider-Woman stuff didn't really seem to be on point.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, final thoughts. I'm really glad we read these issues. I'm really glad we got to see Ann Nesenti in some of her first stuff. Got to see her spread her wings, learn the craft, try a lot of big swings. Most of them landed. The ones that didn't were kind of silly and clunky, but goddamn, she did pretty great for first assignment.
Yeah. She was shockingly good.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad we read all the stuff. I enjoyed the Nesenti run there at the end. It was cool going back to horror and dark, weird stuff and magic and the Darkhold. So never going to complain about me from going back to the Darkhold. I mean,
no,
I'm pretty predictable. So this is cool. And I'm glad we followed it through to the end. So Jack can say, we'll see how you like it. That was worth it.
That was worth it, I guess.
Long walk for that, but that's cool.
Yeah.
We'll have some cool guests next week, and we'll be talking about his next appearance. So it's all
That's
part
right.
of the journey.
We're doing West Coast Avengers next, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, West Coast Avengers 4.
Number 5 or 4.
Or number 5. No, I can't remember which one it is. But and we're gonna have Brian and Rob from Marvel by the Month on next episode, which I'm very excited about.
There's someone knocking on your door.
I don't think so.
That was weird.
Ghosties.
I guess so.
All right, cool.
All right. So, hey, we have this Patreon thing we do where we make bonus episodes for people. It's really awesome. You have to check it out. It's at patreon.com/werewolfbynight-podcast. We have tons of levels you can support us at, whatever you're willing to give. But the highest levels are Star Gods, which are $10 a month. And then we have our Pack Brothers and Pack Sisters. We just call them Pack members. That's the $5 level. And those folks get the bonus show, a video version of that, special cool video stuff that's like exclusive only to them. What else, Jacob? Well, if you're a member of the highest level for 6 months or more, you also get a Bronze Age Monsters t-shirt. We got our new logos back, like I said. So that's part of a 6 month commitment.
That's right, and those are coming up. Yeah. So yeah, we'll be able to reveal the logo and for our rebrand. But yeah, until then, we're gonna see Jack out in style and go through the final appearances up until even the early 90s. We dip our toe, Matt. We do.
It's lava.
It's lava, but we get burned for you, the listener.
Yeah. So let's give our shout outs. We love to do this. Let's start with our Star Gods. Is that cool?
You bet.
So that's folks like Michael G,
Josh Link,
Jackson T. Overstreet,
Ryan from Across the Bifrost,
Mark Nivens,
Eric Hadley,
and then we have our beloved Pack Brothers and Pack Sisters, Pack members, Tim Tucker,
Brian from Marvel by the Month,
Blake, last name withheld,
Jeff Fitzpatrick,
Caleb,
Ben M,
Michelle from Moonlight Comics,
Rob Haferman,
Russ from Tomes of Evil,
Brad Elmore,
Johnny Turner,
Tony Iupi,
Jared Savedas,
Brink,
Bill from Long Island,
and David D.
Thank you so much for supporting the show. You folks make it awesome. Right on. So regarding our bonus show this week, I've been sick all week long, and I think we're going to put this one off a week. We're going to take a bye, right?
We rarely do, so I think you've earned it. I don't want you to have to edit a long episode and a bonus episode in the next 24 hours.
Jacob's been seeing me. I've been sweating.
Yeah, you don't look great, or you don't look your best. You always look great. You just don't. You don't look your best right now. So I would like you to take a load off. You're already going to have to edit this whole episode, so I don't want to make any more work for you. So I think we're going to take a bye on the bonus episode, but we'll get back to it next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll get back to it next week, and we'll talk about. We watched a movie called I Am Lisa, which is a werewolf film from 2020, and we watched it.
And we watched
it is a film.
It is a film.
So we have things to say about it.
I have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, we'll go through the next chapter of Matt's award-winning segment, The Urge to Scourge.
Covering The Thing 33, I think.
That's right. And we'll also just shoot the shit, tell you some stories. I alluded to it a little bit in this episode, but I went to a concert, a local Klamath Falls folk musician, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. It hurt my soul. So I have lots to say about that.
Also, just for me, that Thing issue has a lot of stuff I don't like. It's I don't really care for the Thing that much, to be honest. I don't talk about it openly much, but it's all about like a women's wrestling association, and I fucking hate wrestling passionately. So
I know
it's a hard issue of the Scourge for me to do, but
okay, I'm
gonna plow through for all of you people, Scourgers. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to talking to the guys from Marvel by the Month next week.
It's going to be a blast.
All right. Well, thank you for listening this week, folks. Till we meet again beneath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at you.